Hey English learners, welcome back to LearnEng, your cozy little corner of the internet where we learn real English together, one easy conversation at a time. I'm David, and today we're going to talk about something that every single person on this planet feels, but very few people know how to express clearly and naturally in English. Stress and pressure. Not the physics definition, not the grammar definition, the human one. That tight feeling in your chest when there's too much to do and not enough time. That background hum of worry that follows you from morning to night. That moment when someone asks, "How are you?" and the honest answer is so much more complicated than fine. That kind of stress, that kind of pressure. Now here's something interesting. Stress is one of the most common human experiences in the modern world. Studies consistently show that a significant percentage of people report feeling stressed on a daily basis. It touches every culture, every profession, every age group. Nobody is immune. And yet, when English learners try to talk about it, they almost always fall back on the same 2 or 3 words. I'm stressed, I'm tired, I'm busy. And those words are true, but they're thin. They don't capture the full texture of what's actually happening. They don't invite the other person in. They don't create the kind of real, honest conversation that actually helps. Today we're going to fix that. We're going to give you the rich, natural, precise vocabulary to talk about stress and pressure in English, in a way that is honest, expressive, and genuinely connecting. Let me start with something personal. About 5 years ago, I went through what I can only describe as a genuinely overwhelming period. Too many commitments, too many deadlines, a project that was falling apart, a family situation that needed attention, and underneath all of it, this quiet, persistent feeling that I was failing at everything because I couldn't give anything my full attention. And the most isolating part, the part that made it harder than it needed to be, was that I didn't talk about it, not properly. People would ask how I was, and I would say, "Busy, you know how it is," and they would nod and move on, and I would go back to drowning quietly. If I had the language to say, "Actually, I'm really struggling right now, I feel completely overwhelmed, and I don't know where to start," I think people would have shown up for me differently. I think I would have felt less alone. Language matters, especially when things are hard. So today, this episode is for the person who is carrying something heavy right now, and for everyone who wants to be able to talk about stress and pressure in English when it comes, because it will come. This is a B1 level episode, perfect if you're intermediate. If you're A2, stay with me, you'll understand more than you think, and the second listen always feels easier. Before we jump in, if LearnEng is helping your English grow, please like this episode and subscribe to the channel. Every like, every subscribe, every share brings more learners like you into our LearnEng community, and I genuinely love reading your comments. Come say hello after you listen. Okay, let's talk about stress and pressure in English. First, let me give you something really useful, the difference between stress and pressure in English, because these 2 words are related, but they're not exactly the same, and native speakers use them in slightly different ways. Pressure is external. It comes from outside you, deadlines, expectations, responsibilities, other people. Pressure is the weight of what the world is asking of you. I'm under a lot of pressure at work right now. The pressure to perform was enormous. She felt the pressure of everyone's expectations on her shoulders. Stress is more internal. It's your body and mind's response to that pressure. It's what happens inside you when the pressure becomes too much. I've been really stressed lately. The stress was affecting my sleep. He couldn't think straight. The stress was overwhelming. So pressure is the force. Stress is the response to the force. The world puts pressure on you. You experience stress. Understanding this difference helps you use both words more precisely and more naturally. Here are some natural ways to talk about feeling pressure in English. I'm under a lot of pressure right now. There's a lot riding on this. The pressure is really building. I feel like everyone is expecting something from me and I can't meet all of it. I'm being pulled in too many directions at once. The pressure to get this right is enormous. I feel the weight of this decision. Everything seems to depend on how this goes. That phrase, a lot riding on this, is really important and really common. It means the outcome of something has significant consequences. If this goes well, something good happens. If it goes badly, something important is lost. A lot is riding on this presentation. It could change everything. I could feel how much was riding on that conversation. And being pulled in too many directions, this perfectly captures that feeling of too many demands at the same time. Work pulling you one way, family pulling another, your own needs pulling a third. I've been pulled in too many directions lately. I can't focus on anything properly. Now let's talk about expressing stress itself, the internal experience. I've been really stressed lately. I'm finding everything a bit overwhelming at the moment. I'm running on empty. I feel completely drained. My head is all over the place. I can't seem to switch off. I've been burning the candle at both ends. I feel like I'm constantly behind no matter how much I do. I haven't been sleeping well. My mind won't stop. I'm stretched to my limit. Let me stay with a few of those. Running on empty, this is a beautiful and very common expression. It means you have used up all your energy and reserves. You're still going, but there's nothing left in the tank. Like a car that's almost out of fuel, but still moving. I've been running on empty for weeks. I really need a break. She looked like she was running on empty, exhausted, but still pushing through. Burning the candle at both ends, this means working or being active from very early in the morning to very late at night, using up your energy at both ends of the day with no rest in the middle. I've been burning the candle at both ends trying to finish this project. You can't burn the candle at both ends forever. Eventually something gives. My head is all over the place. This means you can't focus. Your thoughts are scattered. You're jumping from one thing to another without being able to settle on anything. Sorry, my head is all over the place today. I can't seem to concentrate. She said her head was all over the place after everything that happened. Can't switch off. This is the specific stress of not being able to stop thinking about work or problems even when you're supposed to be resting. I go to bed, but I can't switch off. My mind just keeps going. Even on weekends, I can't switch off. It's exhausting. These phrases don't just communicate information. They communicate texture, experience, the particular quality of what stress actually feels like from the inside, and that's what makes real conversation happen. Now let's talk about talking to someone else about their stress, because being able to ask the right questions to show genuine care is just as important as being able to express your own experience. Here are natural ways to check in with someone who seems stressed. You seem a little stressed. Is everything okay? You seem like you've got a lot on your plate right now. How are you holding up? Is there anything I can do? You don't have to carry this alone, you know. That sounds really hard. How long has this been going on? It's okay to say if things are tough. I'm not just asking to be polite. That last one, I'm not just asking to be polite, is a really powerful thing to say, because most of the time when people ask, how are you, they are asking to be polite. They expect fine thanks, but this phrase signals, I actually want to know. I'm actually here, and that changes the entire nature of the conversation. And you've got a lot on your plate. This is a very common English idiom. Your plate is like your desk or your to-do list. Having a lot on your plate means having many responsibilities, tasks, or problems to deal with at the same time. She's got a lot on her plate right now: work, family, the move. I know you've got a lot on your plate, but I just wanted to check in. Now let's talk about what people say when they're trying to cope with stress, when they're managing it, working through it, finding ways to deal. I'm trying to take it one day at a time. I'm just focusing on what I can control. I've been trying to be kinder to myself about it. I had to learn to say no. My boundaries were completely gone. I've been making more time for the things that restore me. I'm trying not to catastrophize, to keep things in perspective. I'm getting better at asking for help. I've started being honest about how much I can actually take on. Catastrophize, this is a really useful word. It means to imagine that a situation is much worse than it actually is, to turn a problem into a disaster in your mind, to assume the worst possible outcome. I have a tendency to catastrophize when I'm stressed. My brain goes straight to worst-case scenario. Try not to catastrophize. most of the time things work out better than we feared. Keep things in perspective. This means to see a situation in its proper proportion, not to make it bigger or more catastrophic than it really is. When I'm stressed, I lose perspective. Everything feels equally urgent and equally terrible. It helped to talk to someone. They helped me keep things in perspective. Setting boundaries. This phrase has become very common in English in recent years. A boundary is a limit you set about what you will and won't accept or take on. Setting boundaries means clearly communicating and maintaining those limits. I had to set some boundaries at work. I was taking on too much. She's been working on setting boundaries with her family. It's not easy, but it's necessary. Now let's talk about the conversation around burnout specifically, because burnout is different from ordinary stress, and the language around it is important. Burnout is what happens when stress goes on for too long without enough recovery. It's not just being tired. It's a deep, profound emptiness, a loss of motivation, a disconnection from the things that used to matter, an inability to feel things properly. Here are natural English phrases about burnout. I think I'm heading toward burnout if I'm honest. I hit a wall. I just completely hit a wall. I had nothing left to give, not to work, not to anyone. I stopped caring about things that used to matter to me, and that scared me. I was going through the motions, but I wasn't really there. I had to stop completely. My body and mind just said no. It took me a long time to recover from that period. I'm still rebuilding my energy if I'm honest. Hit a wall. This is a very vivid and very natural expression. It means you reached a point where you simply could not continue. You ran into an invisible barrier and stopped. I hit a wall around month 3. I just couldn't push anymore. She hit a wall and finally took the break she'd been putting off for months. Going through the motions. This means doing the actions of something without really being present or engaged. The body is there, but the heart and mind are somewhere else. I was going through the motions at work, showing up, doing the tasks, but not really there. After the burnout, I spent weeks just going through the motions before I started feeling like myself again. Now let's talk about recovery, because this is the hopeful part, and it's also where some really beautiful and useful English lives. I needed to completely step back for a while. I gave myself permission to rest without feeling guilty about it. I started protecting my weekends, really protecting them. I had to accept that I couldn't do everything, and that was okay. Asking for help was the hardest part, but it changed everything. Rest is not laziness. I had to really learn that. I'm learning to pace myself better. I started putting my own well-being on the list, not at the bottom, but near the top. Rest is not laziness. I want to stay with that for a moment, because this is a belief that drives a huge amount of burnout. The idea that resting is somehow weak or unproductive, that every moment of stillness is a moment wasted. And unlearning that belief, genuinely unlearning it, is one of the most important things a stressed person can do. Rest is not laziness. Rest is maintenance. Rest is necessary. Rest is what makes everything else possible. Before word tour, your mission for today. Think honestly about your stress level right now, not in general, right now, today. Write 3 sentences in English that honestly describe how you're doing. Not fine, not busy, honestly. Use this structure if it helps. Right now I'm feeling. The biggest source of pressure for me at the moment is. One thing that helps me cope is. 3 sentences, honest, real, yours. Post them in the comments if you want. This is one of the safest spaces on the internet. Everyone here is on the same journey, and everyone here understands. And if you're really struggling right now, writing it down in English might be one small thing that helps make it feel a little more manageable. All right, my friend, time for word tour, our slow vocabulary walk through today's most useful stress and pressure words and phrases here on LearnEng. Take your time. Repeat after me out loud if you can. First phrase, a lot riding on this. This means the outcome of something has significant consequences. A lot depends on how it goes. There's a lot riding on this interview. I really need it to go well. I could feel how much was riding on that decision. A lot riding on this. A lot riding on this. Next phrase, pulled in too many directions. This means having too many demands pulling your attention and energy at the same time. I've been pulled in too many directions lately. I can't give anything my proper attention. She looked exhausted, pulled in too many directions at once, pulled in too many directions, pulled in too many directions. Next phrase, running on empty. This means having used up all your energy and reserves but still continuing, like a car almost out of fuel. I've been running on empty for weeks. I really need to rest. He was clearly running on empty but refused to stop. Running on empty, running on empty. Next phrase, burning the candle at both ends. This means working or being active from very early to very late with no rest in between. You can't burn the candle at both ends forever. Eventually, your body gives out. She's been burning the candle at both ends, trying to finish everything before the deadline. Burning the candle at both ends. Burning the candle at both ends. Next phrase, a lot on your plate. This means having many responsibilities, tasks, or problems to deal with at the same time. I know you've got a lot on your plate right now. Is there anything I can take off it? He's been quiet lately. I think he's got a lot on his plate. A lot on your plate. A lot on your plate. Next phrase, can't switch off. This means being unable to stop thinking about work or problems even during rest time. I go to bed exhausted, but I can't switch off. My mind keeps going. Even on holiday, she couldn't switch off from work. Can't switch off. Can't switch off. Next word, catastrophize. To catastrophize means to imagine a situation is much worse than it actually is, to assume the worst possible outcome. I tend to catastrophize when I'm stressed. My brain goes straight to disaster mode. Try not to catastrophize. Most things work out better than we fear. Catastrophize. Catastrophize. Next phrase, hit a wall. To hit a wall means to reach a point where you simply cannot continue, to run into an invisible barrier. I hit a wall in month 3 and had to completely step back. She hit a wall and finally accepted she needed help. Hit a wall. Hit a wall. Next phrase, going through the motions. This means doing the actions of something without really being present or genuinely engaged. After the burnout, I spent weeks just going through the motions. He was there physically, but clearly just going through the motions. Going through the motions. Going through the motions. Last phrase, setting boundaries. Setting boundaries means clearly deciding and communicating the limits of what you will accept or take on and maintaining those limits. I had to set some serious boundaries at work. I was completely overwhelmed. Learning to set boundaries was one of the best things I ever did for my mental health. Setting boundaries, setting boundaries. Those are your 10 phrases for today here on LearnEng. A lot riding on this, pulled in too many directions, running on empty, burning the candle at both ends, a lot on your plate, can't switch off, catastrophize, hit a wall, going through the motions, setting boundaries. Pick 2, write your own example sentences, say them out loud. That is how they become yours. And here we are at the end of another LearnEng episode together. I want to say something before we go. If you are stressed right now, if you are carrying something heavy right now, I want you to know that saying it out loud matters, in any language, but in English, having the words for it means you can share it with a wider world, with colleagues and friends and people who speak English and care about you. And being understood, really understood, is one of the most relieving things a human being can experience. You are not running on empty forever. Walls are hit and then climbed over. Candles can be rested and relit. Plates can have things taken off them. And the pressure, as real and as heavy as it is right now, it is not the whole story. It is a chapter, and chapters end. Your mission, 3 honest sentences. Post them in the comments. I will read every single one. And tell me, where in the world are you right now? What time of day is it? I love knowing where our LearnEng community is carrying its weight at this very moment. If today's episode helped you feel a little more seen or gave you the words for something you've been carrying, please like this video, subscribe to LearnEng, and share it with one person who is stressed right now and doesn't have the words for it, because they need this, and you know exactly who they are. I'm David. This has been LearnEng, your cozy place to learn real English one conversation at a time, and I'll see you in the next episode. Take care of yourself, rest when you need to, ask for help when you need to. You're doing so much better than you think. Bye for now.